Hey everybody, it's GauntletX and welcome back to the Final Fantasy Early Access event. Thank you very much once again to Wizards Coast for providing me with this promotional early access account. And without further ado, with that disclaimer out of the way, let's just get into another draft of Final Fantasy, the brand new set. This is going to be a sweet one here. For a pack one, pick one, we've got tons of really cool options. Still very new to the set, so I'm sure my pick order will change as things progress. But for now, pretty big fan of the Choco Comet. This is a creature and a removal spell all in one, and any card that plays like that tends to play really well in draft. It gets you ahead on board, gets 2 cards worth of value, just a lot of good stuff going for it. Some really fun build around uncommons here though. In green black we have Cloud of Darkness. There's a lot of good self mill in green and black where this can hit the board and also be a removal spell and a creature in one, but it's a little more restrictive being a specific 2-color pair, whereas the Choco Comet can go into any red deck. And then same with like the Garland here. Pretty nice build around uncommon. I mean, this is just a good uncommon period no matter what you're playing. The only issue is that it's color restrictive, whereas the Comet, a solid mono-colored card there. So we'll start with that. And for pick 2, we got a really sweet reprint here. There's these special bonus sheet reprints that all have like pretty iconic classic artwork or scenes from the games, where they're just reprints of a bunch of really cool classic Magic cards as well at the same time. So Captain Lannery Storm is now Vaughn, Aspiring Sky Pirate here, which is just another strong red card to go with the Choco Comet. Leaves us pretty nice and open. It's some good ramp, just getting some damage in early, getting a bunch of treasure tokens out there. Definitely like Vaughn, Aspiring Sky Pirate as a solid pick to go along with the Choco Comet and keep us wide open. Again, a lot of other pretty strong cards here. Sleep Magic seems really good. 1 mana, tap a creature, keep it tapped until somebody deals damage to it, which just doesn't happen that often to some creature that's sitting there tapped. So kind of like a 1 mana removal spell out of blue pretty consistently, pretty strong. So that's pretty sweet. Sephiroth's Intervention, very iconic scene and a very strong flexible removal spell. Ice Magic, we got Lulu over there casting some sweet blizzard spells. So some really good interaction out of that pack in the other colors, but I'm happy to stick to one color for now. Choose things a little later. For pick number 3, somewhat late black rare here. What does this do? This is a 3 mana equipment with Job Select. That means it comes with a 1/1 hero that is attached to this equipment or attached with this equipment. So it's basically a 3 mana 2/2 ninja. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card and discard a card and make your opponent lose life equal to the discarded card's mana value. Seems decent, but I can see why that is not like a pack one, pick one Insta-Slam rare. It's a 2/2 that keeps drawing and discarding cards. You can re-equip this for only 2 mana, so it's one of the more efficient ones to move around later in the game. Doesn't seem bad at all. I wouldn't be surprised if that's just the pick here. I think I will go for that, as much as I'd love to take like a classic character like Tidus or something pretty far off from its colors here. No, not 2 of them in a row. But we've got another sick reprint, Fatal Push, Battle at the Bridge. 1 mana, destroy a creature, mana value 2 or less, or if one of your permanents left the battlefield this turn, you could destroy something with mana value 4 or less. There are a lot of strong high mana value cards, so it's not the most consistent thing in draft generally, but still decent cheap removal. Wouldn't mind that. Just going Rakdos for now, going red and black. Item Shopkeep seems pretty filler. I mean, fine for an equipment deck, obviously. It's a fine counter spell here. Tidus, we're not really trying to play a 3-color deck, but somebody's going to get 2 Tidus in a row, and they have a really, really easy path. Just go for a blue-white artifacts deck, but we'll take the Fatal Push here. And there we go. We got a Garland, pick number 5. That is decently late enough to be a little bit of a sign that we can go for the black-red deck here. In theory, the black-red archetype is supposed to be about casting a bunch of non-creature spells and pinging your opponent with all your little black mage tokens. Garland does somewhat similar things, letting you surveil every time you cast a non-creature spell, but Garland is one of these cards that's really just about the upfront value. You don't really need any synergies for this card to be good. It's just going to be a 2 mana 3/2, already a good stat line for the mana cost, that can come back from the grave later as a 5/5 flyer. So it's a good card to trade off with early, because then you can get another card out of it later in the game. Just solid stuff. Simple card, strong one, happy to play it. Pick number 6 now. We've got a really good card draw spell with Memories returning. Also, very cool artwork. Very nice to see Squall and Renoa there. Or is that the other one? I think that's Renoa. I don't remember Final Fantasy VIII super well. But yeah, reveal the top 5. You're going to draw 3 of them, and your opponent's going to choose 2 of them that you're not going to draw. it's a really weird back and forth. You take turns choosing the cards. You choose what you want. They choose what you don't want. Or they choose what they don't want you to have. It goes back and forth and stuff. But I think, you know, it is probably strong enough to just not take like a Sabbath Tender here. The red and black cards are pretty weak in this pack, so we're really unlikely to end up in blue right now. But the upside, if we do end up blue, of the memories returning is way higher than just having random like Sabbath Tender in here if we're in red and black. Pick number 7. Decent uncommons. I don't think either of these are quite strong enough to get me speculating off color again. Really flavorful. Zach gets to sacrifice himself, move all of his powers over to something else. You know, passing the Buster Sword on to Cloud there. Cool. But I'm just going to take the card that seems decent for this archetype, get the Black Mage's Rod. This is essentially a 2-mana 2/1 that pings our opponent for 1 every time we cast a non-creature spell, and then we can equip this rod to other stuff later and ping our opponent off of more spells. Pick number 8, Hill Gigas, or Gigas, or I don't know, probably Gigas, or Gigas? I have no idea. And it's not a voice-acted Final Fantasy, it's from 6, so I can't even look it up. I mean, I could, but there's not going to be like an audio sound from in-game that pronounces that. This is just not a great pack for anybody, so I guess I'll just stick to the on-color kind of filler card there. Hey, look, on-color dual land. I don't mind that. Item Shopkeep is decent with our job select equipments, like our Ninja's Blades and our Black Mage's Rod, so that's not horrible. I still don't think it's good enough to take over just an on-color dual land, though. Although we are starting to get a lot of on-color equipment creatures. Now a Warrior's Sword. It's a pretty late Ice Magic, too. Wouldn't be surprised if that's a decent speculation alongside our memories returning. But I like these job select equipment. They have a lot of different synergies in this format. There's cards that care about equipment, like that 2-mana 2/2 card that we saw. There's also a lot of cards that care about casting non-creature spells. And this is a way to fill your deck up with non-creature spells while still technically casting a bunch of creatures, right? So these job select equipment are all going to trigger our Black Mages and ping our opponent for a damage. But they're also just going to be the creatures that we play on curve to get onto the board. Wow, pick 12 Tidus. I think I'd rather speculate on that than take the Shopkeep. I mean, I've got a Memories Returning. If I get Memories Returning Tidus, I might pivot here. If we see a pick 12, pick 13 Tidus. Okay, we didn't see both of them. Somebody took one of them. So that's enough to not speculate, but I think just the off chance of going Tidus was interesting enough for me to go take that speculation. Obviously, it didn't pan out. We've got a really solid looking deck regardless right now. Just some good Rakdos stuff. And we got a second copy of the Ninja's Blades rare that's just going to make it more consistent to our kind of non-creature spell strategy thing. Pack 2, pick 2. Wow, we could run just exclusively job select cards, can't we? This is going to be a 3/3 trample haste for 3. And then an equipment we can move around later. That is pretty good. We could add triple Tidus. This is insane. I don't have a lot of removal. We can also just take Sephiroth's Intervention here. I'm on Fatal Push and Choco Comet. That is really low on removal and on interaction. Maybe supposed to take Sephiroth's Intervention, even though this does seem really nice. 3 mana, 3/3 trample haste. Yeah, I'm going to take the Intervention here. Have more ways to deal with our opponent, dropping just like a big, scary, rare kind of card. Ooh. Alright, the equipment deck looks somewhat open, which is important. Yeah, double-checking everything else, but I'm pretty sure we're taking Furion. 3 mana, 3/3. All of our equipped creatures we control have haste. So on turn 4, if I play this, and then on turn 4, I play my 4 mana Warrior Sword, I have a 4/3 haste that jams in. And whenever a non-token equipment enters, you get to create a copy of it that has the equip abilities cost 2 less to activate, and you sack it at the next end step. So that's really good with job select cards because they're going to come in with haste because the equipped 1/1 has haste. They're also going to leave the 1/1 token behind. Even though you sack the equipment itself, you don't have to sack the 1/1 hero token that it makes. So Furion seems awesome for the way that things are going right now, where we have a bunch of job select cards. What is Freya? 1 red mana, 1/1 flyer, And you can tap for mana for equipment spells and abilities. Seems like a really nice one-drop for this kind of deck. I'd like more Warrior Swords, but I feel like we're the only player in this draft pod that's really interested in the card, so we might be able to wheel that. We'll see. I'll take Freya. Really nice to get things started super early. Ooh, Excalibur the second. Excalibur 2? Electric Boogaloo? Ah, it's a life gain card. It turns any creature into your Ajani's Pride mate, gets bigger every time you're gaining life. That does not really work in our red-black deck here. We got a Suplex here for cheap removal. There's also Call the Mountain Chocobo, which is really nice for decks that are trying to get to higher mana values. This looks like a pretty aggressive one that's going to be pretty low to the ground, so I'd rather just have the cheap removal. But I do want to shout out Call the Mountain Chocobo as a card I have been impressed by some opponents. One of my opponents have played it. Target creature control deals X to any other target and X to itself, where X is its power. Okay, that seems pretty bad. Self-destruct there. You need something with higher toughness than power, which isn't something you're going to have in red and black very often. I'll just take another Suplex here. Although Blazing Bomb, if there was any deck that could play this card, it would be one with 4 mana or higher non-creature spells like 2 Warrior Swords and 1 Sephiroth's Intervention, a Choco Comet. Those all trigger the bomb and get counters onto it. But that's still not a ton of cards for it. Pick 7, I'll take a Suplex here. Not that I hate Namazu Trader, I think it's a fine card, but if we're playing any more 4-mana cards, we're probably playing 1 or 2 more copies of Warrior Sword that we're likely to pick up throughout this draft. Mysidian Elder is pretty good in this deck. All of these wizard tokens pinging for every non-creature card we're playing. We're going to have a good non-creature count, and of course, these equipment that technically aren't counting as creatures when we cast them, but they'll be all through our creature curve as well. Pick 9, Marlborough is not a bad top-end spell, and it's flexible. If you don't have the mana for it, you cycle it away. The Girlfriend of Freet is also pretty sweet. The Guardian Force from Final Fantasy VIII. Pretty flexible, but I've got a lot of 3-mana stuff going on, so I'll take the 6-drop. Pick number 10, there's a solid 2-mana Job Select card here, and we've got enough non-creature spells. We might be able to get some good damage in with the Rapier as well. Take that over the Sabbatender. Go with all of our equipment synergy stuff that's going on right now. Again, I think I have just a lot of 3-mana stuff, so I'm probably not we're not picking up a Girlfriend today. We'll take Light of Judgment. And we got that Warrior Sword to wheel, nice and late as expected, which is why we kept that 4-mana slot pretty open. Okay, that's a sweet one that I will definitely want to get for my collection, but it's not a very good card in draft. A removal spell that leaves your opponent with a creature, not super good. Okay, pack 3, pick number 1. We didn't open up an on-color rare. We got a solid side quest. It's a removal spell that gives us a treasure. And then every time another creature dies during our turn, we get to get another treasure. Once we have 3 of them, we get a big old dragon. A non-flying dragon, but a big old dragon nonetheless. We also have an Act of Treason. We steal our opponent's creature, untap it, give it haste, and we can attach one of our equipment to it to get extra damage in, and then unattach in the end step. This actually seems pretty nice for this deck. That's a good finisher that can come out of nowhere. Get their big blocker out of the way. Yeah, I like both of these. I like the Unexpected Request. I like the side quest. For the Hunt the Mark thing. I think I'm taking the side quest, but it's very close between the two. I think they're both great. Pack 3, pick 2. Tonberry is nasty. Kind of slow. It comes into play tapped and with a stun counter, but because it's a 1-mana play and there's not a ton of those, it's pretty easily to just go Swamp Tonberry, and then you can wait for it, because once it's untapped, it's going to be pretty much impossible to block. A 2/1 First Strike Death Touch. Those 2 abilities together means that it deals damage before it's dealt any damage back, and a single point of damage from it is lethal. So if your opponent blocks with 2 creatures, you do 1 damage to each of them, blow them both up, and Tonberry takes no damage. So they have to block it with 3 creatures to kill it, and if they block it with 3 creatures, you get to kill 2 of your choice. This thing is like almost impossible to block. The big issue with it, it's a very bad draw later in the game. It doesn't do anything on blocks, and if you're playing this on like turn 7 or 8 and just playing a tapped stunned creature, you're going to have a really bad time. But it is an excellent card in your opening hand, so still interested in playing around with it here. I think it's really fun. We've got a decent card draw spell with Resentful Revelation. Fight On seems pretty bad for this deck because so many of our creatures are technically non-creature cards. Reno and Rude is actually pretty nice for this kind of deck. All of our job select equipment give us two different options of what to sacrifice to this card. We can sacrifice the 1/1 token that the equipment makes, or we can sacrifice the equipment itself. So Reno and Rude also seems pretty sweet. And we might be able to wheel some like Warrior Sword cards again to fill out that top end slot. So I'll take the Reno and Rude here. Okay, I have 3 Suplex, Choco Comet, Light of Judgment, Hunt the Mark, Intervention, and Battle at the Bridge. All of our non-creature spells, if you don't count the equipment that are all basically creatures, are removal spells. So I think I can pass up on this Treachery to just take another great equipment this time, that Samurai's Katana. I'm not going to pass up on it twice. We'll get the 3 mana, 3/3 Trample Haste and bash in for some damage. Pick number 5. Now we'll take that item shop keep, giving most of our creatures the ability to give themselves menace. The amount of equipment creatures we have. Pick 6. Looks pretty bad. I guess Fire Magic is flexible enough it could be okay in here, but we have so many small creatures. I feel like this is almost always just going to kill some of our own cards while we're trying to do anything else with it. Not super into it. There's a Haste Magic combat trick, but I have so much just hard removal here that it's going to be hard to run tricks instead. I'll take the Fire Magic. I don't think I'll be running it in this deck, though. This seems a lot better for a more defensive deck that doesn't have a lot of cheap creatures. Take another Marlboro. Ooh, what does this land do? 3 mana for a single wizard. Wow. These lands are all pretty mediocre. I mean, the whole point is that they're flexible, right? If you draw it when you're flooded out, then you get something else out of it. But they're all like really expensive for what they're doing. Like 3 mana for a single 0/1. I mean, I'm probably not playing anything else in here, so might as well just run this over a mountain, but it's not quite as exciting as I was hoping it would be. Got the Unexpected Request to come back, which is kind of sick. I actually like the Blazing Bomb in here. Let's play more 1-mana creatures and get that curve going fast. Although the more 1-mana cards we have in the deck, the less we want these tap lands, like Lindbloom. Another Blazing Bomb. Yeah, maybe we go all in, full speed ahead, aggro. Play 4 1-drops, don't play any of the tap lands. Another Mysidian Elder is not unplayable in this deck, although I've got a lot of other 3-mana cards competing for its space in the deck. I feel like Blazing Bomb is probably not even that good, even when you have the 4-mana cards to make it bigger. Because it's still going to sit there and be a 1-mana 1/1 until you have 4 mana. Until you cast a 4-mana card. It takes so long before it really matters. Yeah, I kind of just don't want to play them. And then just keep the tap lands in here. Just 2 1-drops. So let's sort by creatures, and we'll also sort by our job select cards. I didn't do that correctly. There we go. So everything that has job select in its rules text will be up in our creature count as well. I guess the Choco Comet and the Call the Mountain Chocobo also create creatures. I don't think we're going to be running those, though. Let's go really low to the ground and just cut the 6s. Cut the bombs. Probably cut a land with how low we're making this mana curve. Call the Mountain Chocobos, and they're not going to be good if we're going to be going really low mana curve. Creature count here. Probably want like 17. We're at 12, but we do need to keep in mind this is 12 creatures plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 equipment that count as creatures. So it's actually 20 creatures in the deck right now, so we want to cut at least 3 creatures. We're still at 17, although the Choco Comet also kind of counts as a creature. So we're probably cutting 4 creatures and then some spells. So Sabotenders here are the least synergistic of our 2-mana creatures. Everybody else I'm pretty happy with here at 1 and 2 mana. And then looks like 3 mana is where we're clumped up, so something alongside the Sabotenders. Probably these Elders. I think they're the weakest of our 3-mana cards. We've got Ninja's Blades, Vaughn, Furion, Samurai's Katana. Yeah, the Mysidian Elders are not bad looking. It's just that everything else is just so good at that 3 mana slot. So we'll cut the Elders. And then this is 16 creatures. We have 7 creatures, but we have 8 equipment that make creatures. That's 15. And we have the 1 Choco Comet for the 16th. One more cut to go, probably the Fire Magic for the reasons I stated before. Don't want to just blow up all our own creatures with that card. This looks very solid here. Yeah, really fun looking archetype here. A lot of nice synergies to go with these job select cards. Getting the additional hasting job selected equipment creatures going in off of Therian seems pretty great. But also just like surveilling every time we're casting any of these equipment spells. Seems awesome. We're ramping up into them. We can sacrifice different options for Reno and Rude to cast cards from our opponent's deck against them. A lot of really cool stuff going on with this deck, and I'm excited to see how it does. So without further ado, let's hop into the gameplay. All right, here we are on the play for game number 1. Sweet hand here. Play Freya into turn 2 Katana. Tap land on turn 3 is going to be awkward. We don't get the Therian up. But turn 2 Katana. Just get things rolling super fast. Seems great. Oh, there's Ninja Blades too. So Furion gives haste. So if I play Katana here, then I play Furion first and then Ninja's Blades, I'll get that haste bonus there. That'll be really big. Whereas since this one already has haste, we can just jam it in pretty freely. If I top deck a basic, this hand's going to be incredible. If I don't, I guess I can just play the Ninja's Blades to make sure that I'm still doing stuff with my mana here. That'll be a little bit sad, but I still have the Warrior's Sword to go with the Furion, so it's not like Furion's going to be doing nothing by the time we cast them. We did hit the land, so we can drop Furion here. Pretty important. Excellent draw. Got them down to 13 already, and if they don't kill Furion, we're going to have an insane turn next turn, doing a bunch of damage here. I mean, the Ninja's Blades with haste, both of the ninjas hitting our opponent, drawing a card, discarding a card, and make them lose life. Lose 4 when we discard the Warrior's Sword. Oh my god, this could be insane if Furion doesn't die here. Even if Furion dies, this is still a powerful hand. Our opponent's also on an equipment deck. They're on the Boros version, red-white. They have 2 of the King of the Dwarfs that cares about the equipment. Gives them the rummaging ability, discarding cards and drawing cards, which is pretty cool. So seeing the 2 different flavors of equipment deck here, kind of. Yeah, they're just going to hold up on blocks. That makes sense. It makes me a little sad, though, because the Ninja's Blades gets blocked really well by the 3/3 body. It's going to be some 2/2s with haste, so instead we kind of have to just make some 4/3s with haste, which is still pretty dang powerful. So I shouldn't be that disappointed. I could attack with Furion. Honestly, the amount of damage that I'm pressuring them with by sending Furion in as well is enough that it's could pretty easily justify losing Furion double-ups next turn. But my hand is entirely more equipment that work with Furion, so I'm just not going to send him in. Magitech Infantry, pretty great card. A little slow for their position right now. They have 3 blockers up, I believe. By Warrior's Sword, they're just dead. They might be dead to Ninja's Blade Suplex the Cat as well. Let's go Ninja's Blade Suplex the Cat because it's funnier. And I think still lethal. Oh, I had to tap Freya to do that. Okay, they concede anyway, thankfully. I don't think we quite had lethal then. Actually, we probably did because they have to block the 3s. So they block a 3, and one of the 2s. They take 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if I discard a 2-mana card or better, they still die. Unless, could they block the 3 and then both of the ninjas? Block the 3, both the ninjas take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so they had to, yeah, block these 3 and take 5. They were at 1 life there, even though I punted that. We were supposed to tap Freya, because Freya can tap for Ninja's Blade, but can't tap for Suplex. So if we tapped Freya, I could have cast the Blades and the Suplex, got the cat out of the way. Jammed. Works out either way, though. That was just an explosive start to this draft, and we are 1-0 heading into game 2. Low hand for this deck. Nothing until turn 3, and we're on the draw instead of on the play. I think this still has to be a keep, though. We've got all of our colors and some pretty decent cards. But I'm not thrilled about the opener. Black Mage's Rod helps it a lot, starting on turn 2 here. Got our little wizard going. No! Lightning, how could you do this to me? Betrayal. Alright, now they could have the counter spell up. It could just be more instant speed removal, in which case it's still better to just play Ninja's Blades, unless it's exactly the counter spell. Of course. I think that was the best play with no information, because they're on black and red as well. They could easily just have like a second Thunder Magic, where it's a lot worse to just play like a Rapier. Heck dies. It's pretty annoying. Little discard spell here. It's a Choco Comet for us. It's a pretty good one. Surveil 1, draw a card, sure. They're just on full control over there, Grixis control stuff. Eject is very good against our deck. Bounce spells in general. Blue is probably our worst matchup, period, because there are a lot of bounce spells in this set. Both sorceries, there's no way I'm shooting a 1/1. Tap and stun is fine. I can kill the 5/4 with something here. I guess I need a land to do that. Bad draw's bad, though the flan remains. Yeah, sword's 5 to equip. Oh boy, they get a black mage every single turn. And it's also 4 toughness, so just exactly out of reach of the suplexes. We need the land for Light of Judgment. Without that land, there's literally no play right now. I mean, I can kill a 1/1 or a 0/1. Guess I'm low enough on life, I kind of just need to play the blocker here. So I'm really far from this dealing 4 damage. Okay, I can still deal 6 with this thing. I'm just that 1 mana away from killing Kuja. Another 4 toughness card. This one's an artifact, though, so I can suplex that. Okay. Alright, I played the tap land, so I'm guaranteed that's a Light of Judgment this turn. Do I need to cast it right now before they could potentially top deck another counter spell? Kind of feel like I do, even though it would be technically better to play it during their turns, that I could, like, surprise have a 4/1 to block the 4/4 or the 5/4. I'm actually just going to gamble it out here, because if I just kill that at sorcery speed, they have a free attack with a 5/4 and a 4/4, and we're under so much pressure, so I kind of just need them to not have another counter spell. Okay, the Sentinel is a lot more manageable because of our suplexes. So we leave the Sentinel around. Lockbolt can also get suplexed. Now it's going to be a 1-1 and an 0-1 and a draw spell versus my nothing. We are pretty far behind here. But any creature I draw into does immediately just get suited up with a ton of equipment. Yeah, their card draw's gone a long way. The eject 2-for-1 dust, it killed one of our cards and drew a card. The combat tutorial was another 2-for-1. So they got pretty ahead in card advantage here off those cards. Plus now the flashback to draw another card. Another up and another card. That is real bad here. Like any creature draw would be so much better. Having to throw removal at the 1-1 is depressing. Taking 2 damage a turn. Quistis is incredible. It's literally Snapcaster Mage, but you can do it from either graveyard. So they can cast our best spell against us. They can just Choco Commodust in the face. Brutally good card. All right, that'll do it. 1-1 heading into game 3. All right, game number 3. We got the Rapier on turn 2. Unfortunately, we're on the draw again. Pretty big downside for this deck. It's kind of desperate for the play, being an aggro deck like this. Excuse me. There's Town Greeter, so our opponent's on one of the great green-blue centered ramp decks. You have a bunch of cards that can pick up lands and tutor for lands and all kinds of pretty nasty stuff. I'm going to play the Menace card. The Rapier's pretty bad against the 1-1. Because this, like, turns into a 3-1 or a 5-1 or something, but it's always going to be 1 toughness, so it's just going to attack in and trade into the Town Greeter, whereas Reno and Rude, because they've got Menace, they get to get in regardless here, which is pretty nice. Okay. I think I'm pretty interested in some ramp here. Let's get Vaughn out here. There are also expendable artifacts to sacrifice for Reno and Rude's ability, which is kind of awesome. Lightning bolts. That's kind of sick. I'd have to sack Vaughn and the treasure token to play the lightning bolt. That's not a good deal. But that's a really cool reprint they got. Thrum of the Vestige. Ooh, Saws. Saws is really strong as far as I remember. Yeah, they get to... It's just immediately a 2-for-1. He gets to search for any land or chocobo. And then you double up your +1/+1 counters. Yeah, you put a counter on a creature and double it up. Oof. Terrifying card. Well, I've got an unexpected request here. My request is that I sacrifice your Saws to my Reno and Rude, and you cry. Oh my god, I get the +1/+1 counters as well. Oh, that's so good. Totally forgot about Saw's attack trigger. This is going to be a filthy turn. I don't really care what the card is. I will sack Saw's. It's 4 mana. I can't afford that, but they're going to concede because that was gross. Yeah, that's about as good as our unexpected request is going to be today. I imagine having it alongside the Reno and Rude is particularly rude, but especially when they had like a creature with a good attack trigger like that, so I can permanently get some +1/+1 counters on my board. That was gnarly. We are 2-1 heading into game 4. Here we are now on the draw again for game number 4. Got the Shopkeep. into the Ninja's Blades, into the Warrior's Sword. Solid little curve here. There's the Unexpected Request as a finisher. Get their biggest blocker out of the way and try to kill them with it. Another card, like a lot of this deck, that's a lot better on the play when we got a lot more pressure on our opponent early. Mono green so far from our opponent, so they're stuck off of a color here, but there's a lot of ways to pick up some mana. That's an aggressive Chocobo kick. They're just going to clear out our 2/2. Fair enough. Let's Ninja's Blades here and save the removal to try to get something out of the way to make sure this card gets some triggers in there. Gets us some draws and discards. Another Chocobo kick? Well, that could explain that. They could just have a bunch of copies of that one card. So anything we play, they're just going to kick. I really don't care to suplex this one Chocobo, but... yeah, I'm just going to play the Warrior's Sword. I could play Rapier and suplex it. But I'll let it stick around. I mean, maybe if they have the third Chocobo kick, I mean, you got me. It's just all Chocobos. Green, red, Chocobo landfall stuff over there. Fair. Okay. Draw and discard every turn and get a ton of damage in right now off of this. Feels pretty fine. Killing a 2/2 for free is also really nice, so I don't mind that either. Alright, turns out I should have just suplexed the Chocobo last turn, because I'm just going to do it here anyway. Still have the Hunt the Mark left over. Choco Comet. They are literally only playing Chocobos. Okay. Kill the Chocobo, play a Tonberry. Tonberry is going to be unstoppable. Oh, we don't get the treasure till the end step? Dang. Oh god. Next instant or sorcery they play is going to get doubled up. 4 mana. So if I sack a permanent, I can Fatal Push that. Yeah, I mean, that's just worth it. Because otherwise they're going to get 2 Chocobos off of one of these and then 3 off of the next one. And that's super bad for me. Alright, get the 1 Chocobo. Oh, Reno and Rude with the Unexpected Request again. Awesome. I don't have the mana to put the Warrior's Sword on this hero then. Man. That means no attacks this turn if I want to play Reno and Rude out. Alright, I've got time. I'll just do this setup turn. I'm gonna borrow that real quick. Sure. Put a Warrior's Sword on it. Oh my god, I get all the treasure tokens? Oh, that's filthy. That is evil. And the treasure tokens flip my side quest? Criminal. Absolutely criminal work from Reno and Rude. There's a Cypher. which doesn't do anything until Cypher can attack, which is not going to happen at this rate. I guess I can't kill Cypher here. Okay, I have 1,000,000 mana, so we definitely put the Ninja's Blades on the card they can't block. And then send in the team. I hope to hit something good out of their deck here. I guess I should have just played Warrior's Sword, because I have all these treasure tokens anyway. By casting Warrior's Sword, I make this a lethal attack if they don't block. I'll cast a Chocobo here, sure. Oh, right, it's already lethal just from the Ninja's Blades. Yeah. Well, that was crazy. That was pretty awesome. We'll take those. That's 2 and 1 heading into game 4. There's Reno and Rude. See if we can't get the Active Treason effect to go alongside them. The Steal spell. But they're decent even with the Job Select cards if we have the mana up for whatever we're trying to cast out of our opponent's deck. We're on the draw again. There's the unexpected request. Let's go gambling. Ooh. Draws are good. Speak of Reno and Rude. I'm just gonna kill theirs. Since we're on the draw here, it's gonna be a long time before I can really profitably do the unexpected request thing, especially if they have any removal. So if I draw into any like 3 mana creature, I'll just play that instead here. Yeah, this feels fine. I'll trade Lannery into the 2/1 and get a treasure token to have a bunch of mana in the future. Slow our opponent down here, especially because they're stuck on 2 lands. That's going to be nice. Shouldn't open my mouth. They top deck land 3. There's the Thief's Knife. Okay. Definitely need to not get hit by this. If I get hit by it, they draw a card. Our best way to guarantee that we're not going to get hit by it is to just kill it. Just throw our removal spell at it. But if I do that, I have to sack my treasure token and not have Sephiroth's intervention left over. That feels pretty bad. But if I tap out for Reno and Rude or Warrior's Sword or something, and then they just use a removal spell next turn, they get to cast a removal spell, hit me, and draw a card in the same turn, which is really kind of horrific. So I think I have to intervention this. It's not great. Land for turn. Excuse me. There's the Gourmet. Where my mana, though? That's the big question here. Alright, well, they're drawing a card here. They can tap out, put the knife on the Gourmet, and just attack. But then I can borrow the Gourmet, draw a card myself, and sack it. So we stay tied in terms of card advantage from that. So seems fine. Let's draw some lands, please. Thief's Knife. What is going on? If we drew a land out of either player's deck, I would have been really happy there, because Reno can play cards. Specifically, you may play the exiled card, which means you can play lands. If it says you can cast the card, and that's all you can do, then you can't play lands off of it. But Reno and Rude can play lands, so if either player had a land on top of their deck, I'd be really happy there. Neither did, though. So we're having some mana issues this game. Which is particularly rough, because our opponent showed us that they started with a 2-land hand, missed land, drop 3, and then they've just naturally drawn into all this mana. Yeah, they're 4 for 4 on lands in a row after the missing the land on turn 3. They did draw one extra card. That certainly helps. But we also drew an extra card. Million blue mana on tap means there's no way I'm playing Fury in here. I think I play the Rapier. This is going to get them to just cast removal on Reno and Rude. If Reno and Rude connect here, we can sacrifice the Rapier and play their land off the top if we can hit one. And if they have the counterspell here, then maybe we get to pull the counterspell out of their hand for a much weaker spell than either of our rares. But if they don't have the counter and they don't have the removal, this is still pretty dang good. Still nearly as good as playing these because we get to attempt to hit the land off Reno and Rude. And if they do have the counter or removal, then it is obviously much better than either of those, because then they would just kill a way better card. Sure. It's the bounce spell. Okay, so Reno remains. Not a terrible one to get bounced since they're only 2 mana. Vanille, mill 2, pick up any permanent from their grave to their hand. Just a really good value play. Just a big Eternal Witness. I think pick up the Gourmet or the Fenrir here. If they also have Fang, then they get to meld into this giant Ragnarok. And just like insta-kill us with that thing. So they pick up the Gourmet. Play a Shambling Seath. Finally land for 16 cards deep to get a 4th land. They're at 15 here. Can jam 3 in. That doesn't seem awful. One land from double spelling with these two. Just why I'm just going for the 4 mana play. We gotta be pretty mana efficient here when we're still pretty low on lands this late in the game. This also gives more bait for them to throw removal at rather than killing Furion, if they have removal left still. So they could go like Equip Thief's Knife, cast a removal spell here if they have cheap removal. So they can hit us and draw another card. Genuinely so jealous about all the lands over there. Thief's Knife Vanille. Maybe Combat Trick instead of removal? Sure. No Combat Trick, alright. If they tap out to equip the knife to the shambling thing and we hit a land, that would play really well. I should know by now, though. Probably not hitting lands on average. When they cast any non-creature spell, they pick this up from their grave, put it back to their hand, so it's pretty bad to just trade into that card. To the point where I don't think I can attack. Could attack into it with a Menace card. They're holding up a bunch of mana for something, or they would have played the Gourmet. Probably some kind of interaction. I guess we're just playing another Warrior Sword. And then we don't attack in, because if we do, they just take the trade and then cast whatever instant they're holding on to and pick up the Seath. Yeah. That would have been a pretty bad deal. I guess they wouldn't even have had to recast it at this point and just make it a 4/4. They are at 12, and this is essentially a 3-1 attacker. I don't think it's crazy to let them just draw the card here. One blocker up with this Gourmet. I don't think I do let them draw it, though. I am going to go for the chump here. Turn that to a big tapped vehicle, sure. Okay. Tap land. Come on, Arena. Jam for 4. Put them to 8. This is going to draw them a card every turn. That's really good. Play the Gourmet, crew that, attack both, draw 2. That is super nasty. If this is for the untapped mana, we could kill the Seath and they only draw 1, but it was the tapped land. So we need to like find a 2-turn kill somehow. So we like hit them for 4 here. They're at 8, and then maybe I get a turn where I get to play Furion and Ninja's Blades if I top deck another land after this. That's the Wombo combo kill. I think if I just tap out for Furion right now, that's pretty risky. I mean, it's risky either way. Either we're gambling on drawing a land or we're gambling on them just not interacting with Furion at all. Both are really unlikely. Especially when they're drawing potentially 2 extra cards this turn. Town Greeter's kind of a perfect card to crew the Balam. They've got Graveyard Recursion for Sin. Got a problem. They've got the Fight On, but they milled that as well. Go for the draw 2, put us to 9. Or are they going to hold up more blockers here and just do the draw 1? Alright, they're holding up more blockers. He's going to draw 1 card, put us to 14. So you're going to have 2 blockers up minimum. Come on, top deck. Basic land off the top, baby. 3 blockers up is not going to be lethal. Only 4 attackers. Didn't hit the land anyway. I'm tempted to suplex the Balam Garden because it's hilarious. And also not bad. Because that card is doing a lot of work for our opponent right now. I think that's where I'm at here. We're not suplexing a train. This isn't perfectly in flavor, but it's similar. We're suplexing a giant vehicle. Really big Shambling Seath. I think we have to take this hit so that we have counterattack opportunities. Yeah. It's that or double block, and the double block's also really bad. No removal, fingers crossed. Oh, it's disgustingly powerful removal. The Cloud of Darkness, that card is incredible in these grindy, rampy decks. Big creature plus a removal spell that kills basically anything by the time you cast it. Oh, we got them like 1 swing from dead with the amount of power that we can produce really quickly with cards like Furion, but we just did not have the mana to get the swing in early at all. So that destroys 1 equipment, sadly. I have to kill the flyer. This was an excruciating game. These are always the worst. When it's like a game that like you're just so far behind on like mana that it just feels like an inevitable loss the whole time, but it's also a loss that takes like a half hour to finally actually lose the game. This one was really disappointing. Sure, it'll be a bit quicker watching the video for sure. Edit out some dead air of us thinking and opponent thinking. Alright, cast another instant or sorcery, please. That is sick artwork. Yep. Oh, we just took years to hit our mana. That is 3 and 2, I believe. Might be 2 and 2. Nope, 3 and 2 indeed. 3 and 2 heading into game number 6. Alright, game number 6, let's get rolling. We got the turn 1 Freya, we're actually on the play. Turns out it is possible. Got the Reno and Rude and the Black Mage's Rod to sacrifice towards them. It's pretty awesome. Cloud. Midgar Mercenary, what's their best equipment in the deck? Don't tell me they got the double mythic. Yeah, they didn't get the double mythic, they got the Excalibur, the life gain equipment. Turns anybody into a Johnny's Pride mate, gets really big. That is really good with Cloud though, just 1 mana to cast it, and then just keeps charging up every time they gain life, so they can easily get that on the board and start charging up here. Let's play the Black Mage's Rod here off of the Freya. That way, because I know I can hit them with Reno because Reno and Rude because they have Menace. If I hit anything that costs 2 or less, I can cast it if I want. This costs 5. So we will not be sacrificing anybody there. And then I also get to be mana efficient and play the Shopkeep, so still a good backup plan even if I didn't hit off of Reno there. To use all 4 of that mana. Are they mono white life gain? That'd be pretty sick. This Moogle card looks really strong. Duplicate all their creatures. Basically, like if you have 4 creatures out, you get 4 Moogles with lifelink. If you have 5 out, you get 5 Moogles with lifelink. And your whole board gain's indestructible. This card's going to be filthy when it comes out of nowhere, like during combat. Card is going to be just absolutely gnarly. I will trade my token for whatever combat trick you have. Yeah, You're Not Alone is fine. And then a Crystal Fragments equipment, sure. Ooh, Ninja's Blades. I think I'm playing that post-combat. We're just going to attack with everybody here, and then if we hit something good, sack the Black Mage's Rod. What is this? 3/5. It costs 5 mana, so I can't cast it this turn. Sad. Alright, no sack. Yeah, Ninja's Blades. Even though the Warrior Sword is a bigger creature and it costs more mana, it just has a good enough ability. I'd rather get that on the board first. They have found their second color. They're a blue-white deck, and there's the Scorpion Sentinel for a 1/4 blocker. There's the White Mage's Staff, which gains them a life off every attack. That's going to trigger the Excalibur over and over again, which is pretty sweet. Could just load up Freya with all this equipment. They don't have any flying or reach, and they're down to 12 now, so if we just get the flying chip damage in, that could be pretty scary. Yeah, especially when we deal 4 by discarding the Warrior Sword. Absolutely. Flying, Menace, Pings, just get them going here. Should be huge. Draw a card, discard a 4-drop, deal 4. They're down to 6. Here's a Tonberry too. Got Shiva to stun the Crescent. Yeah, Shiva's a really, really good card at really slowing your opponent down. Stun a card twice in a row, and then draw a card for all of our tapped creatures. +1. This is also +1, so I can make something 4 power. I can't get to 5 power, and I need to get to 5 power to attack in here, so I can't attack it. But I guess I can make this thing 3 power. No, then they double block with these two, and I don't kill anything. So I can make one of these two 4 power, and they double block, and I kill the weaker creature, and Shiva just sticks around. This doesn't feel worth an attack. So let's get the mana investment out of the way to put something on the Tonberry and make that kind of scary too. Kind of scary, make that really scary. So put the more expensive equipment on the Tonberry, because then I can easily move the Ninja's Blades over to it later. Because Tonberry is going to be really hard for them to block. I mean, 4 power, First Strike, Death Touch, Menace as well, so if they want to stop us from using the Ninja Blades, then they have to chump block with 2 creatures. There's absolutely no way for them to kill it, because First Strike, Death Touch. Yep, because they keep the Freya tapped here, we're just all in on Tonberry at this point. Gain a life, buff up the Excalibur. Pretty decent. We're down to 18 now. Buff up that Sentinel. They're 1 land away from that being astronomically large. Okay, they basically have to double chump here because they know how easy it would be for us to just have basically any spell in hand and we kill them. Double chump has arrived. Thank you, Tonberry. Very cool. Now they get to draw 2, but they have to sack the Shiva. Let's just juice up a sturdy blocker here. I don't think it matters too much where we put this right now. Excuse me. White Mage's Staff. Adelbert Steiner. Oh god. 7/6 lifelink. They don't have any reach, so we could still get the kill with Freya. If we can draw anything to discard, as long as I don't draw exclusively lands here. Freya could still lethal them here. Excuse me. Guess they gain a couple life, go to 9. Yeah. That's rough. The Menace is kind of important for the Tonberry swing. Come on, deck. So get the guaranteed Ninja Blades trigger. Get a few Tonberry damage, and Tonberry does not have First Strike or Death Touch on blocks, so Tonberry is just not nearly as good at blocking as it is at attacking, so we can't really hold that up here. They either take 3 or they lose 2 creatures. Oh, we got the double trump again, let's go. Big moves from Tonberry. And draw discard. It's comical. Now they just get to gain 7 minimum, plus the 2 White Mage's Staffs. I don't have any way to like sack one of my creatures at instant speed here. Gain 5 million bajillion life. Yep. God, that's a bummer. Alright, I just need 1 removal spell. That's just destroy target creature. We do have 1 or 2 of those, and Fatal Push is one of them. Yeah, that's huge. Do it. Play a 4/4. Is that better than Black Mage's Rod? I don't think so. I'm not going to sack anything for that. Oh, that's a good draw. Keep that to go with Reno and Rude. Can I stay in this draft and play this deck more? I have to win this game to do it. If we lose this, that's our 3rd loss. Please, Arena. I have 2 life and a dream. I want to play some more with this deck. Yep. Anything they play is an absolutely massive creature because of the Excalibur. But if they just play the 1 creature, we steal it. And we kill them with it. Wonderful. This should be lethal. And it is. Oh. Oh my god. When they had the 14 life gain swing, I was like, this game is just over. We're gonna lose the run like this. I don't get to play the deck anymore. But, whew. We found some gas at exactly the last possible moment, and it keeps us in this run at 4-2 now for a positive record, no matter what happens from here. All right, here we are on the play again for game number 7. Really sweet. Start out on the play with a turn 2 Garland into a turn 3 Ninja's Blades. The battle at the bridge here, or the Fatal Push here to clear out one of the cheap blockers and try to get the Ninja's Blades to connect. If they play like the Chocobo or some really good 1-mana card, I'll Fatal Push immediately. But there's not a lot of super good 1-mana cards. Black-red mirror match. They've got Black Mage's Rod here. Trading Garland into pretty much anybody is fine, because you get to recast them from the grave later, and you're kind of up a card in that exchange. Sick. I'll have my 7 mana flyer waiting in the grave. Here's my Ninja's Blades. Trading Garland off into that creature also makes it more likely the Ninja's Blades gets to connect and get me drawing and discarding cards and shoving a million damage at my opponent. Can't suplex that. Oh, they have the 4-year to just exile from the grave. And I misspoke. I can't fatal push it, but I can suplex it. So we're going to suplex the 4-year. And just push damage here. I think I'm going to go land Rapier, but let's keep these all on hand for now so I have more options for what I discard based on what I draw. Yeah, if I draw Reno and Rude, definitely playing them instead. Scavengers. Now this creature, another creature artifact control dies. Opponent loses life and you gain a life. Sure. Put the Ninja's Blade on our Menace card and then they can't stop it. Don't hate that. But also if I sack something to Reno and Rude's ability, then I have the Fatal Push to kill the Scavengers. So would I go like Rapier here? I could move the Ninja Blades to Reno and Rude, attack them, hit them for 3, draw a discard, deal 5, stack the 1/1, and also Fatal Push the Scavengers. It's like a lot of work, but seems pretty strong to me. Swamp? I'm gonna have to sack the card anyway, so might as well play their Swamp as our land for turn. And that lets me play the Rapier as well this turn. It's pretty sick. Draw the second Ninja's Blades. I kind of forgot I had 2 copies of this. I was wondering how I was getting so lucky and hitting it in so many of these games. We got the double. That's a lot of mana up. So let's put a blade on each of these. So they need double removal to stop me from basically killing them on the spot. Okay, so removal spell that. Do they also have the removal for Reno and Rude? No. If we draw a 4-drop, they are dead. That's a 4-drop, but it doesn't go to my hand. Suplex? I'd rather keep that in hand than put them to 2. That was a pretty nasty exile. Now they don't get to draw Vincent Valentine, a very cool, very powerful card. Alright, that is just exactly the deck strategy there. We got to be on the play, got a nice aggressive start, tons of card draw and interaction stuff. Simple stuff there. We are now 5-2. Basically at the point we're in the money, no matter how this draft goes from here. Although this is the early access event, so we're kind of playing with Monopoly bucks, so it doesn't matter too much. But an excellent win rate. You can go infinite off of going 5-3 every draft. All right, here we are on the play again. Feels good. It is game number 8 right now. We're pretty deep in this draft, 5-2 right now. Really strong opening hand on the play. We're curving a little bit. Gonna start hitting them with the flyer, getting the rapier down, and we get to play. Ooh. I was gonna talk about playing Warrior's Sword turn 3 off of the mana ramp, but getting a bunch of treasure tokens over time is pretty worth it, so we might just curve out naturally and play Vaughn instead. And get some treasures. Especially with the Choco Comet in hand that wants like a really high X mana value. Getting treasure tokens we can use on anything would be pretty valuable. Although, if they're just going to play a blocker that'll block and kill Vaughn at like no cost to them, I'd rather, I think, curve into the sword. Because I don't want to send Vaughn into just a 2-2 with basically no abilities. But I'll happily send the hero token into it. So Boros deck from our opponents, they're doing their own equipment stuff. There's Squall, I do not have the mana to suplex Squall and also play Vaughn here. So I can't really get in unless I just suplex. Yeah, I guess we gotta just suplex here and hit for 5. Don't really see an alternate line because this is only equipment mana. Can't play 2 of these or anything. Alright, we got a suplex Squall. There's their own shopkeep for the menacing swings. Speaking of the menacing swings, play our own shopkeep and they can't block anybody. Tap land is also the land we need to Comet away the 2/2. Alright, battle menu, our 4 power creature. Here's Lionheart. Deal 2 to one of our cards, leave an equipment behind. Looks like we get to keep the flyer, which is not bad. Sweet, no blockers up. I actually get to start making some treasure tokens for this Choco Comet. Happily take that. It's better to equip or hit for 1 more damage right now. Equipping is 2 more damage next turn. It's probably better to actually equip, weirdly. Trading 1 damage now for 2 damage next turn when we Choco Comet. This is a 3 mana 3/2 ward 1. Okay. Put the life gain equipment on the shopkeep. Then that in. Gain 1, get menace. Sure. Sephiroth's intervention, not bad. So Choco Comet X equals 2, and then pay ward 1. Got exactly the mana for that. Without having to use the treasure token. Excellent. Would have been pretty fine to just intervention there too, because the Choco Comet can target their face to try to find the last few points of damage. But good enough. There's the concession from our opponent. We are 6-2. I think we started this off like 2-2, maybe 3-2. So we've been really close to getting knocked out for several games in a row here, but we've kind of carried it onward to victory. A 6-win run at worst. Very, very excellent draft here, but we have made it all the way to the final battle. Whether we win or lose, this will be the final game of Magic for today. So let's head into that final boss. All right, here we are for the final battle. We are back to being on the draw here. So it's going to be a little bit of a slower game, but we have Shopkeep on 2, Katana on 3, and some good removal from then on. Not a bad start at all. Opponent starts with a Plains. Turn 2 plays a Swamp and pass the turn. So at least they're not putting us under any pressure. Although they could have an instant here. Could be the 2 mana 2/2 Flash Chocobo or something. Don't love our draws here. We drew a 3rd removal spell. Really looking for more creatures. Aerith? I don't want to do it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Earth. Truly the villains, man. Truly the villains. Tonberry. I will happily suplex a Tonberry all day long. Oh! Okay. As much as I don't want to blow up an area. If we had this in hand... Oh boy. Alright, let's just Katana in there with haste. Kaboom. Get a 2-2, sure. Goodbye, shopkeep. Weapons vendor, solid value play. Draw them a card and get some power on this board. I'm gonna be a little Reno and rude today. And blow up the blockers when they actually matter. Currently, we're fine at getting our damage in. And I don't really care if the Tonberry starts hitting me. Oh, I care. Oh god, that's bad. So I really need to hit land 5. Because Buster Sword, you just can't let Buster Sword hit you. They draw a card and cast a spell for free. It is egregiously powerful. So we just have to hit the land for Light of Judgment here, really. I mean, I guess I can suplex the Buster Sword, which really doesn't make sense, but it does work. Didn't hit the land, but I could hit the land off of Reno and Rude out of their deck. I did not hit the land off of Reno and Rude from their deck. So, I can suplex the Buster Sword, or I can Sephiroth's Intervention whatever they attack with that has the sword equipped. This is really bad if they have some kind of indestructible trick, but I'm going to try to just blow up whatever attacks with the sword equips to it. Because I don't remember. I haven't played against a lot of like hex-proof, indestructible sort of tricks out of white yet in this set. Can't really play around what I haven't seen yet. And from what I have seen, this intervention should resolve. Okay, the ward is a really bad time. Because they can just move the sword over for 1 mana, move it over to the ward card, and I can't Sephiroth's Intervention it. Ah, that was a very good card to have in hand there. Oh wait, are they doing it the other way? What is going where? Target equipment is Paladin Arm. Target creature is Tonberry. So they're equipping Paladin's Arms to Tonberry, so I actually can intervention the Tonberry, and Buster Sword is guaranteed not equipped to anybody on this attack. Oh right, this thing has Summoning Sickness, so they couldn't have like done that the other way. I was going crazy for nothing. And now... I hit for 5 if they don't block. Don't have a way to do the last 2 damage to their face, but it's threatening enough they might block here. And then I can Light of Judgment whenever they equip Buster Sword to somebody and get really far ahead. I'm already far ahead in life total, but far ahead in card advantage off of that 2-for-1. If they've got anything that makes somebody lose 2 life in their deck, I could draw into something off Reno and Rude to finish them off here. Get a 2-2. That's not what I want to see at all. Okay, here's another part I wasn't thinking of. What happens if they put the Buster Sword and Paladin's Arms on somebody? If they put the Paladin's Arms on first and then move the Buster Sword over, I can't blow up the creature and the Buster Sword. All right, well. I guess worst case scenario, if they do go for the equip on Paladin's Arms first, I can still just blow up the 2/2. But if they sequence it wrong and do the Buster Sword first, which I don't really know if they would have any way to know that this is sequencing it wrong, then I still get the 2-for-1. And I still got the 2-for-1. I got really lucky there. Because again, like, it's really early in the format, and like, I don't think there's really any way for them to know specifically. They should have done it the other way around, even if it weren't. Cool. It's 5 to equip. Ooh, 5 for the haste is a lot. But I got all this equipment lying around, and we can use it to finish them off. There's the concession from our opponent. We've got Lethal on board, just jamming some more equipment on the 4-3. That is a 7-win run. 7-2 after a rocky start, 2-2 or 3-2, somewhere around there. We were on the verge of defeat the whole time, but a really excellent win streak in the end takes us to the full 7-win trophy run here. Excuse me. Still having some sore throat, cold style issues after my trip, but we're still going to play as much Final Fantasy as possible for you all. So yeah, this was a sweet deck, really fun one, really synergistic one, showing off a lot of the cool ways that you can use the job select mechanic. Again, showing off multiple different aspects of it, being able to sacrifice the creatures or the equipment from those job select cards to abilities like those on Reno and Rude is very, very nice. Being able to double up the equipments with the Furion was a really fun, rare kind of thing you don't get to do as often. The Freya giving you extra mana for the equipments is pretty sweet. There's a lot of cute things you can do with all these job select cards. They also all count as non-creature spells to trigger your cards like the Red Mage's Rapier and the Black Mage's Rod. Just a lot of cool different things going on in this deck, so really happy to get the full 7-win run with it and get a nice trophy run today. So that is going to be 2,200 gems and 6 packs maximum prize out from today's draft. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and are interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. And other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.